Okay, let's talk about a habit that a lot of us have, but we probably don't admit to it very often. I'm talking about talking to yourself. We're going to get into the hidden psychology behind it and why this little quirk might actually be your brain's secret weapon.
You know the feeling, right? You're in your car, or maybe just walking around the house, and you're in the middle of a full-on conversation with yourself. And then that sudden jolt of fear. What if someone heard me? Yeah, it can be a little embarrassing. For ages, this has been the go-to joke, hasn't it? It's this little dig that suggests you're a bit strange or maybe even unstable. But what if that old saying is completely, totally wrong?
Well, this is where we're going to flip that whole idea on its head. Because psychology tells a very, very different story. Talking to yourself isn't a sign of instability. In fact, research suggests it's actually linked to high cognitive function and, yeah, even a higher IQ.
See, this habit actually has a name. It's called verbal reasoning. It's just the simple act of taking all those invisible, chaotic thoughts bouncing around in your head and turning them into spoken words. And when you do that, you can organize your ideas and solve problems way more effectively.
So let's start here. Why is this a sign of brilliance? Why is it a feature of your mind and not some kind of flaw? Because this isn't just random rambling, it's a seriously sophisticated tool. People with highly efficient brains tend to do this on purpose, usually in private and in a really structured way. It's not mindless chatter. By talking through their thoughts, they can cut through all that mental noise, solve problems faster, stay locked in on a task, and ultimately make way smarter decisions.
And that brings us to the first huge benefit: organizing all that inner chaos. It's one of the best ways to manage a mind that's always running at 100 miles an hour.
If you have one of those minds that never seems to switch off, you know exactly what this feels like. Your brain is just built for constant processing. It's analyzing everything all the time. And honestly, it can get pretty overwhelming. It's like having 100 browser tabs open in your head at once.
And the solution? Well, think of it like this. Speaking your thoughts out loud acts like a necessary pressure release valve. It gives all that mental energy somewhere to go, and it stops your thoughts from just spiraling out of control. Here's exactly how it works. Your thoughts are moving at like the speed of light, but you can't talk that fast. So when you speak your thoughts, you're forcing your brain to slow down to the physical pace of your speech. That creates just enough space for you to actually hear and evaluate each thought one by one with way more clarity.
Okay, so it's not just about slowing down. This habit is also a kind of secret weapon for gaining a deeper understanding of things and for keeping your emotions in check.
You've probably heard some version of this idea before, right? The ultimate test of whether you really get something is if you can explain it in simple terms. Well, when you talk to yourself, that's exactly what you're doing. You're testing your own understanding.
You literally become your own sounding board. The act of saying something out loud forces you to put your thoughts in order, find the gaps in your logic, and clear up any confusion. You're basically stress testing your own ideas to see if they actually make sense outside of your own head.
And this is also an incredibly powerful tool for managing your emotions. Think about it. When you feel that wave of stress or frustration, just narrating your next steps, like, okay, I'm just going to put my keys down and then I'm going to open this email. It creates this tiny, crucial gap between the feeling and your reaction. It pulls you out of that panic mode and into a calm, logical one.
So, what does this all mean? What's the big takeaway? It means it's time to embrace that inner voice and start seeing it for what it is. Not a weird quirk, but one of your biggest cognitive strengths.
So let me be crystal clear about this. You're not weird, and you are definitely not losing your mind. You are using a sophisticated mental tool to manage a very complex, very fast brain. That's it.
I really want you to let this sink in. Your unique habits, those things that might seem a little odd to other people, they aren't flaws. They are simply the cost of depth. They are the price you pay for having a powerful and complex mind.
So, the next time you catch yourself talking to yourself, don't stop. Don't feel embarrassed. Recognize it for what it is, your brilliance at work. And that leaves us with a pretty interesting question, doesn't it? What other so-called quirks do you have that might actually be your greatest strengths?